welcome back to
Bunso Bites.
I'm your host, Ami43.
And I'm your co-host, Jiggy.
Hi, Jiggy.
Hi, Ami.
How are you? Sorry. It's been a long day.
yes. Today has been a long day.
Mm-hmm.
I did receive my new dryer.
Woohoo!
It was a same model, different color.
Yeah, it looks like yin and yang now.
Yes, I have a white dryer, and then I have a brownish. It's like brownish to me.
It's like steel gray, y'all. It is not brown
Okay,
at all.
whatever. I think it's a brownish color
it looks like
washer.
yin and yang. It looks like black and white.
But now we're able to do some laundry.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of waiting for it to dry or bringing it over to a dry cleaner or the laundromat.
Hanging it on the banister.
Yeah, that. But I like the dryer that I had.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing, but it was very efficient.
Mm-hmm.
Until we figured out that it didn't work anymore. So now we're back to doing laundry again. So yeah, clean stuff, clean clothes.
It is nice.
And how about you?
I'm okay. Like I said, long day. I just had a lot going on at work today, and then I don't know. I feel like I've kind of been nonstop. Like it was like as soon as I got home from work, then I was like, okay, then I gotta cook this, and then I gotta do this, and then I'll do a load of laundry because we have a dryer now, and then I gotta do this, and then I gotta work on this, and then I have a meeting for this, and then I got another meeting for this, and then everyone's messaging me, and I like feel like it wasn't until like 20-30 minutes ago that I was just sitting down eating mac and cheese, and I was like, I can sit down now. I was like, I can sit down and not think, and I kind of like went brain dead for like 10 minutes, which was really nice.
Nice.
Not a bad day, just a busy day, I guess.
Very busy.
And, so all is well. Like I said, we have the new dryer, so we have clean clothes again, or in the process of, I guess. And it was a relief because I think, like I got off of work and they hadn't delivered the dryer yet. But in the time that it took for me to commute home, to commute to the house, they swapped out the dryer and installed the new one, and it was running like by the time I got home, and I was like, oh great, this is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So, and immediately we were like, we have to run a load of laundry because we haven't run a load of laundry since before the vacation.
Yeah.
So, a relief, and also just like, it's nice to have it there for sure.
Yep. So, let's go straight into our topic.
I know.
Which is the continuation of our first campaign in D&D.
Yep. This is part 2, y'all. So if you haven't seen the first episode, or not first episode, but if you haven't seen the previous episodes, let me say that, we started off our campaign. This is our first ever D&D campaign. At least first ever for Chiggy and I, as well as our 2.5 other friends. And I say half because he was there for half of the time, literally and figuratively. So in the first episode, we discussed character creation and essentially went all the way through day 1 and our first experience with a battle sequence, I guess, in D&D. So we wanted to continue because there's still another 2 days in our campaign.
Right.
But to continue on, so end of day 1, we make our way back to an inn. I don't even remember where.
It's an inn, yeah.
Yeah, we went to an inn, went to sleep for the night. Apparently, this is like an actual thing where if you don't get a full night's sleep, like if for whatever reason we were still gallivanting around in the night, we would not have replenished like our stamina, or like there's like all sorts of things, because, and I remember taking note of this because I was like, oh, because I was fully ready to be like, why don't we just keep going, like through, and then our DM mentioned, he was just like, well, no, you should probably go to sleep so that you're not gonna be inhibited the next day. Right. I didn't realize that. Up until this point, so as we discussed, in our party we have a paladin, we have a druid, we have a ranger orc, and we have a bard. We also happen to have, and this was the one friend who like could make it to half the sessions and not all of them, he was a rogue. And so during this portion of the session, the rogue was present, and so we were going to the inn for the night. And before we went to sleep, I think he ran a perception check, or he ran So one of the, I don't know.
Right. It's a perception check.
Yeah, it was a perception check. He got a high roll, and he, as a rogue, was able to perceive that throughout the night, he woke up, heard kind of like some rustling and noises, looked out the window, and he could kind of see out in like almost like a foggy distance, but you can clearly see there's some activity going on in the fields across the way.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of one of those like, interesting. And then, but it wasn't anything, it wasn't a thing of alarm necessarily. It was just like, I heard a thing. I woke up. I say this is the rogue. Rogue wakes up, looks out the window like, what was that noise? Kind of sees something in the distance, is able to discern like, this isn't a bad thing, but there's definitely something going on. So then, fast forward, we wake up the next morning. We are all rejuvenated and ready to go on our adventure. And Rogue mentions, hey, y'all, woke up in the middle of the night, by the way. Just need to let y'all know this was happening in the fields. Great, let's go to the fields, find out what's happening. Go to the fields, and this kind of starts on... And I immediately, when this started, I was like, what is this side quest? I was like, where are we going? Because this was not... Based on what we had done the first day, I was like, this is not what we had figured we were going to be doing, in concerns with the quote-unquote main story. So I was like, what is happening here? And, so then that leads us to... we keep going like further down, and then we follow like the tracks I don't know if it was like a plow or like a mill or something like that. We follow the tracks. That leads us to a warehouse. Now, at the warehouse, and I loved this battle sequence. This is another battle sequence. I loved this battle sequence because now our map or our setting had extra elements to it.
Mm-hmm.
And by that I mean it's a warehouse, so it's a building. We as a party are outside of the building, and there are two doors, or there's one door, and then we come to find out there is a back entrance if you are a small person.
Mm-hmm.
We had two small people in our party, and so I think it was like, I think when we started, we all kind of did cardinal points, right? Or
we took corners of
we took corners, and the paladin took the door, right? Because there's 5 of us.
No, we all took corners, and there was one already inside.
Okay. And what was cool was because it's a building, at least until we got in, we couldn't see where anyone was. And it was just this like interesting new layer to the story. And it was really interesting because it was like, so first things, it's kind of like, let's deduce what the problem is and figure out how do we get into the building to fight whatever we need to fight, supposedly. Mm-hmm. All of that to say, it turned out to be a crazy mess of things, both like in a sense of we had a couple unlucky rolls, and also I think we were kind of jumping the gun on a lot of things and we didn't quite realize what was happening. But long story short, I think I did a perception check, or the druid did a perception check. We found out there is a back entrance, but again, it's really small. So only the bard, and myself, and the rogue, who were small or size small, could fit in and go, to see who was inside and what was inside.
Right.
And I was about to say, and so I think the rogue went in first, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
He went in first because he has a higher combat skill than I did. And so it was like, well, okay, if I stay outside and you go in, then you can you could tell me, like we could communicate with each other was our logic. And then do you remember what happened with the front door?
Yeah. So since the rogue went in through the back, he had stealth. So no one could see him while he snuck his way into the back.
Right.
When we finally figured out that there was only one way for the rest of the group to go in, we had to go to the front door. So myself, being the orc ranger, and the paladin went straight to the door. The druid actually went through the back and changed into a small creature. She
turned into a rat or a mouse. That's right. I forgot about that part. Yeah.
And then Yeah, the druid went in through the back as a small creature and wasn't seen. But myself and the paladin struggled just to even open the door.
Yeah, like when I tell y'all, the series of unlucky rolls continued because I think it took multiple turns
Mm-hmm.
of not just them trying to open the door, but open the door and like get into the building. Our DM did mention to us that this is kind of a silly little trope in D&D that half the time when you are battling with a building, or not with a building, but a building is present, half of the battle is battling the door. Because it literally was this back and forth of Paladin opens the door, but then the orc trips or something like that, and then Paladin hits the door, and then orc, like, it was just this horrible back and forth with these two who are trying to get in, and the three of us are like kind of stealthily. Did I end up going inside? I don't know.
Yeah,
I think I
you
did. I was in the corner because again, I don't have any attacking moves. I was there as support. And long story short, after all is said and done, our rogue just killed everyone that was in the amount of turns it took. Our rogue was able to not kill, but knock out the two elves. Halflings?
I don't know what they were, but there were
Pixies?
three.
Three?
Yeah,
Oh, three.
there were three people in the warehouse and or shack, and he was able to knock out two of them, and then myself and the paladin took out the last one.
Oh, the one that was by the door, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Which, and this whole time we were howling with laughter because we just could not get through what was a seemingly very, very simple task. I also want to add as a very, very side note, because again, this to me felt like a very much of a side quest, and I really don't even know what we ended up gleaning from it other than a little bit of information. But it turns out, like, per our DM afterwards, we were kind of discussing the whole story. He said that the intended way supposedly was us just knocking on the door and asking, "Hey, what are you doing here?" But we immediately thought, because we saw the battle screen, that we had to kill these people.
Yeah.
Like we just like brute forced our way in, and we're just like, okay, it's fine.
Yeah, basically.
So all we were able to glean from this little side adventure was there are a bunch of explosives similar to fireworks, and that's all we kind of knew. It wasn't really like a clearly this is a negative explosive thing, and obviously we know in the story there is an upcoming event, ritual, festival situation. So fireworks is not an uncommon thing to have. It's just kind of like, oh, this is a little weird. And we were on the lookout for, at least per the NPCs, we're on the lookout for whoever the buyer was. And you know, and they were just like, yeah, we're just here waiting for the buyer, which again gleans towards the story of we could have just knocked and asked the question instead of us going through an entire battle sequence to be like, oh, by the way. So that was fun. Again, I really appreciate our DM kind of like, we start out with like a flat terrain, and then now we have like this dimension of like, here's a building and a door, and oh, perception check, there is actually a back entrance. And it was kind of like this fun little, we were able to utilize, I feel like, more of our individual skills. Like the druid was able to do transformations, paladin and ranger were able to fight a door, and our rogue truly shined in this moment where he utilized all of his stealth and did all the assassination type, you know, undercover type stuff. Very spy-esque, very, very, very cool. So shout out to Mike, our rogue. And so after we find this stuff out about the warehouse and these fireworks, then we go back into town and we're trying to glean again more like additional information. At this point, it was a lot of kind of going back and forth between different places and talking to people, re-talking to people, and then eventually we kind of get this. We get a tip or a lead that we need to go to the boy's family's house, because in the boy's family's house his mother has this study, and in the study there's this information that supposedly would help to solve the problem of how are we going to fix the bridge. And so that included like us going to markets to try to like because I was like, oh, this is just showing our Asian trauma, because the first thing I said was, we need to go to the market and get a gift so that we can so we can offer a gift as a friendship just like, when you go to your auntie's house and you can't go empty handed, you have to bring something. And okay, but it wasn't just me, because the druid agreed. So then we all were like, okay, let's go to the market. We went to the market. We did learn a little bit more of like history and stuff like that, but we ended up buying a unique a replica piece of art. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't a lot of money, because we didn't have a lot of money, but we figured it was unique enough that it would, we knew that the interest of the boy's mother was kind of with the history and all that stuff. So we're like, okay, this is cool enough. Go to the boy's mom's house. Again, another couple knowledge checks, wisdom checks, perception checks. And we were able to, again, just glean additional information of, this is a ritual. And this ritual will, as long as it's in its purest form, with people with like the purest intentions and like, goodness of heart type of stuff, very like storybook trope, it will work. So we're like, okay, great. Now we need to figure out a way to get boy and girl to the bridge in time for, for the festival, so that they can do said ritual and we can save the town. So at this point, we make our way back to the druidic glade, and in our attempt to re-find boy and girl, because we told boy and girl to stay at the druidic glade, we're like, stay here for safety, we'll be back as we gain more information. We go back, and then this is when we have, I honestly think this was the coolest battle out of all of them, where we go against what I very endearingly called the Bowl. It is a bear owl. I think it's called an owl bear or a bear owl, but I like to call it a Bowl because that was really funny to me at the time. Also, by the way, when we were doing this, there were huge chunks of this where I was full on delirious, because we were going for 6 to 8 hours in these sessions. We were going from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. or 10 p.m. I mean, and we are running on sugar and cheese, and we were just, it was fun, but it was also I was very delirious at some of these points. And so we went back to the glade, and we went against the Bowl, which again, half owl, the top half was an owl, and then the bottom half was a bear. If you watched the DnD movie, that's the character that you see. Who is she? A druid?
She is a druid.
She is a druid. This druid transforms, and that's one of her favorite things to transform into. Very, very cool creature thing. It is really, really cool. The image that we had in our little battle sequence was a very terrifying Bowl. So can you explain the? I was about to say, can you explain the newer dimension or the newer layer to this battle?
Okay, so for this battle, it was a lot larger, but the terrain was uneven. So there were a dimension of height that was being included, and so depending on where you were standing, you may or may not see the Bowl, because there's terrain that's high enough to stand in the way of the creature.
Blocks your vision, literally.
Yeah.
I think the first half of it was stairs.
Yeah.
And the Bowl was at the top of the stairs, and we started at the bottom of the stairs.
Yeah.
It was almost like ruined temple vibes.
So, as Ami said, we were at the bottom of the stairs, and we were at the southern part of the map, and then the Bowl was towards the northeastern part. So up the stairs, and then past this little monument, and then we had two NPCs, the boy and the girl, Kayla and whatever the boy's name was, in the upper northeast part of the map, and they were pretty much hidden for the time being because they were on top of a cliff.
Yes. And
so our objective was to not only slay the Bowl, but to keep the NPCs alive.
Yeah, we didn't, because remember, these are the two characters. They need to do the whole ritual thing and save the town. So they theoretically cannot die.
Yeah. So in this fight sequence, again, the paladin rushed towards the battle. I guess the druid aided the paladin. I tried to get height advantage, and
Yeah, you used like not just the stairs, you used the pillars on the side, didn't you?
um, and I guess you just aided however you could with
I
your
threw your mama jokes at it.
with your malicious mockery.
I don't even. What was I said a really dumb because it was bowel, and then there was like another like. It was toilet humor. It really wasn't that funny, but it was funny at the time because we were absolutely delirious.
Yeah. So in this battle, the paladin almost died.
Yes, which I feel like that kind of put us not on edge, but it kind of made it more real. Like we're just like, what happens if one of us dies? Like that's not good.
So not only did he rush to his death, but we really couldn't heal him at that point either.
It was the way the turn sequence was, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
he had gotten injured, and then there was still like another so many turns before. I think that two of us can heal, or can you heal too?
I can't.
Okay, so two of the druid and I can heal, but I think like we just had our turns. Then the bowel attacked the paladin,
And then the paladin got to move.
yeah, and then so it was just a bunch of like the way the order was, and we're just like we need to heal the paladin. Like he's literally on. I think he went all the way down to 2 HP,
Yep.
which is so scary because we're just like if he dies, we don't have any like we don't know what to do.
Yeah. In this sequence, like, since Bowel had advantage over the paladin, the attack of the Bowel made it so that the paladin was grounded, like he was not able to.
It like stunned him or something.
Yeah.
I remember the little animation. Yeah,
He was like prone on the ground or whatever,
Mhm.
and then he got thrown from the ground and landed like behind the Bowel, away from the rest of the party. And so, I don't think he really even did much that fight sequence. But I was able to get height advantage, and then I landed a nat 20.
You did. That was so
And
sick.
that, I think that did like maybe 29 damage or something, which did a big chunk.
It did.
Yeah, we ended up beating the Bowel without the paladin dying.
Yes.
Again, like we said, he was living on 2 HP.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we even were able to keep both NPCs alive
Yes.
because they were still hidden from the Bowel. For whatever reason, the dungeon master kept rolling low
Yeah.
for them,
It kind of
and
worked out.
and so the boy NPC was trying to attack the Bowel, whereas the girl NPC was fighting the boy to keep him away
Hold
from
him
the Bowel.
down. Yeah.
And through all those rolls, I think there was 3 or 4 different cycles of movement where the boy failed to get released from the grasp of the girl
Yeah.
and go and fight. So that really helped us,
It
because if they were to get in the mix as well, then they would have probably died. So
Very much, yeah. Because it was and like I said, it felt the stakes felt higher, not just because the NPCs, but when our paladin got struck down really bad, and the turn sequence was not in our favor. We were not close enough to him to cast healing on him, so it was going to take 2 turns to even get to him, let alone cast healing. It was a whole process, and so that definitely felt more high stakes, I guess. And we very clearly we did win against the Bowel. Also, what I find really cool is, at least for our dungeon master, he kind of plays it very similar to Monster Hunter, where he makes it very clear when the creature or the enemy's health is low. So, like in the case of the tree, he kind of was saying, "Oh, the roots and the branches are leaning and swaying and groaning and moaning against the wind." And then when the Bowel was low in health, it was like, "Oh, it's like panting and it can't really stand up properly." Like he painted a very clear picture. Especially, I think it was right after you hit your nat 20 that turned the tide of the battle,
because up until that point, you know, Druid and I were trying to figure out, okay, what's the best way to heal the paladin / you know, making sure the two NPCs are fine. And then you hit your nat 20, and then after that turn, the Bowel, like the dungeon master was kind of expressing, you know, Bowel's running, you know, he can't stand up and stuff like that. So, which made it it made it really cool because it felt more tangible as a battle. You don't see the HP bar. We see ours, like we know our health points, but we don't see the health points of our enemy. So we kind of are just guessing, like, okay, hopefully this will do something, or this will, you know, whatever. And like I said, we won, and it was that battle felt very rewarding, I feel like, at the end of it, because it was just like, oh, okay, we did a thing, and we did a thing that felt hard in the moment, but that we succeeded as a party. So that was really, really cool. And then after that, we eventually make our way back to the town with the boy and the girl, and I know we ran into some little like hiccups with the girl's family at that point, but I don't even remember what it was. We eventually convinced the girl's family, we're like, hey, we really just need her for this thing. Can we just do this thing, and then we'll, you know, we can figure out what to do from there. But based on you know, we were hired by your mayors, and like, we're here to help. We just need these two to like do this thing. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't fully remember the timeline from day 2 to day 3, like at what point we start day 3. Oh no, it was at that point, because I think we went home with the girl's family, and we slept at the girl's house.
Correct.
And so that's the start of day 3. And then day 3 is the day that we need to have, or the festival's happening, the ritual is supposed to take place.
Yes.
And so that leads us to the Battle of the Bridge, which, for all intents and purposes, and keep in mind, this was over the course of 3 or 4 sessions. And again, our sessions were 6 to 8 hours long. Like, we had very, very long sessions because we just took forever to decide anything, which isn't bad. That's just kind of how our party works. We're very in-depth in our conversations about it. And it is very, very intense. So with day 3, you know, we make our way, and eventually, okay, this is what we're going to do. Explain to the mayors, hey, this is the plan. This is what's going to fix the bridge. Great, awesome. Let's set it up. So we start the battle. I'm calling it the Battle of the Bridge. And it was. I was like, I cannot even express to y'all how insane this was. Because at this point, it is nighttime. Like, it's dark outside. And we have this, again, our DM's on the side, and he has his laptop, and he's projecting onto the screen. And, like, he plays very, very intense battle music. And then on top of that, he sets up the scene of, like, what the bridge looks like. And, y'all, it gets crazy. Like, I screamed, literally. And I don't know, I was scared. But also, I just didn't want to mess up. So, yeah.
So, this last battle, the width of the bridge is not that large. So maybe 3 or 4 hexagons wide, but it was very long.
Yes.
And
oh, that's right, because you maxed out your distance. Yeah.
So the dungeon master asked us where we wanted to stand on the battlefield, and we all took, like, again, cardinal positions on where the ritual was gonna happen.
Yeah, boy and girl were in the center, and then we were all in, like, a formation around them. And
so, you know, we roll for order, and we see, like, that the crystal that they're using in the ritual releases a spirit or an entity, which we have to fight now. And there's, like, multiple phases to this battle.
Yeah, it's so wild.
So, like, in the first phase, this entity, like, he hits
like
hard.
A Dark Soul type of guy or something.
Yeah, he's, like, blue, kind of, like, has a skull-like face.
A skull, but also, like, a weird mask, like, almost like a Night Shield skull or something. And he, like, is standing very, like, posturally, but he looks like he's, like, from Dark Souls. Like, that's literally the art that I could think of. Art style.
We battle this spirit in the first
phase 1,
I guess, and he actually, like, does a chunk of damage to all of us.
Yeah. Like, surprise, like, to the point that we were like, oh no, because it was phase 1 and we were all at half or less health at that point.
Yeah.
We're just like, oh no.
Yeah. Because this creature had an area of effect attack
Yes, yeah.
that hit almost all of us, which is why we were struggling on this one. But both yourself and the druid were able to heal.
Yeah, we hard healed everyone like immediately because, well, I couldn't do anything. So.
Yeah. And then instead of me staying close to accept the heal, I maxed out my distance so I can still do damage but also not get hit.
Pros of being a ranger.
Yep.
Also, I think at this point, I cast Bardic Inspiration on you,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that you were going to start hitting from afar.
Yep.
Intentionally. Yeah.
And so once we did enough damage to end phase 1, phase 2 began.
Also, there are booger sprites around.
Uh-huh.
Did that happen to phase 1 though, didn't it? They were just around. Nope, that happened to phase 2?
Yep.
Okay, well, phase 2, booger sprites appeared. By booger sprites, I mean these tiny little guys that look like fairies, but they're not fairies. And they look like they're evil, but they're not evil. But also, we didn't know what to do, and they were just scattered around the map. Like, if this was the 2 NPCs, and then the, like, 3 of us were, like, around, or Orc went over here, the little booger sprites are just kind of, like, sprinkled all around that.
Hmm.
Like, literally, if you, like, Salt Bay it, they were around.
Yep. And so, I don't know. I'm not sure if this is the correct timeline of the sequences in this battle.
Mm-hmm.
But phase 2, we're still battling the same entity before the booger sprites come out.
Uh-huh.
And, like, he's actually in the air.
Yes. Yeah. He goes from ground level to, like, 10 feet, I think, or 15 feet up.
Mhm.
Like, it was too high for the paladin to swing his sword at.
Right.
I remember that.
So he had to throw his javelin.
He had to throw his javelin, and I, at that point, I think I threw a vicious mockery at him.
No, you threw a spell.
Oh, that's right. I realized that. No, because we had been leveling up. By the way, every night, and this is the way our DM planned it, after every sleep, we woke up as a new level. So after night 1, we woke up level 2. After night 2, we woke up level... So today, or like on the last day, we were level 3. And I had, by level 3, unlocked Ace 2 spells, I think, or something like that. So I did throw a spell at him. You were correct.
Mm-hmm.
Again, didn't do a lot of damage, but I helped.
Yep.
My 2 HP somehow helped.
And so in the second phase, we still battled the same entity, but it was in the air.
Mm-hmm.
And then once that phase ended, then the little booger sprites came out.
Yeah.
And so there were like 8, I think.
Something like that, yeah.
8 of them that came out, and they were spread out throughout the map. And I guess 5 of them were around the crystals that were there.
Like the setting of the bridge, there were like little crystals, yeah.
And then there were just 3 that were just randomly spread out. And this is where like I kind of got scared, because I was like, there's a lot of them. And we're like half HP.
Yeah.
And since there's 3 more of them than, or actually 4 more of them than what we could do,
party, yeah.
then we're outnumbered. We might die. So, we kept asking the dungeon master, what can we do?
Yeah.
Like, does this hit? Does this do anything? And he gave us a lot of advice and
leeway, for sure.
Yeah.
Like he was explaining it to, like, when we were like, oh, so what if we do this? And he's like, you can't, because he's 10 feet up in the air, like stuff like that. He took his time to explain.
Yep. And so I think I remember like when the booger sprites came out, someone tried to attack one and did nothing.
Our druid.
Because it missed.
Yeah. Or she tried to attack, and she tried to communicate with it. Because, like, she was like, well, I can communicate with, like, different animals, and I have language, whatever. They were just booger sprites. They were just there. They were harnesses of energy.
Mm-hmm. And so when we were like, oh, crap, we can't even damage them, then we, like, really started to worry. So we just, like, threw whatever we could at them until one of us were able to do damage.
Yes.
And then when we finally did damage, we were like, oh, my gosh, we hit one. Does it kill? And so I think we had did just enough. Like I think it was maybe 8 points of damage
Right.
that killed one, and we were like, okay, all we have to do is 8.
Mm-hmm.
And so, turn by turn, we would try to take one out
Mm-hmm.
with whatever we could. And we slowly did it.
Mm-hmm.
No one died again.
And also to interject on like the little story bits of this, the entity as well as like the sprites are like, and our dungeon master did a very good job. He was explaining how like the entity who's like, I guess the epitome of shadow and darkness, we don't know, scary man from Dark Souls, was trying to convince the boy and girl, you actually can't do this, Sarah. Like, you guys can't do this. You won't be able. You're not helping the town. This is not going to help anyone. Like, almost like trying to mentally dissuade. And albeit these two are being played as NPCs. They're not being played, but they're also contributing to the overall fight. And so, I remember, I think I threw not bardic inspiration at them, but I think we had to do something, and like we were telling them, we're like, no, don't listen to them or something like that. Like, just keep going with the ritual. Let us handle this.
Mm-hmm.
You focus on that. I think at one point in the battle, we had to like
Right.
stop and do that.
So yeah, we slowly took each of those booger sprites down one by one. And that was the end of that fight sequence. There was some dialogue at the end of it.
Yeah,
I didn't pay attention because I don't like the story.
you're just there for the math.
Yeah. And basically, at the end, we wanted to figure out how well we did with the campaign. And Dungeon Master said, out of like, I think it was
If I were to give
7?
you a grade, yeah.
7 possible outcomes, you guys got the 3rd highest.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're like, okay, cool. But
Yeah.
then you were like,
If you were to give us a grade, what would it be? It was a B. I was so sad. I was like, what did we miss? And what was, I don't know if this is how it goes for other parties and or dungeon masters. We are so fortunate that our dungeon master literally is his brother. So we literally spent an hour or 2 hours after the actual campaign. Once we resolved it, and the day is saved, the bridge is strengthened, the boy and girl are happy, albeit semi-dead, but they're happy because they got hit too. And so he told us, okay, yeah, you got a B. And we spent time afterwards being like, okay, so what was the correct solution, or what should we have done? And this is when we find out, things like at the warehouse, you could have just knocked on the door. There was a whole other storyline with, because there are 2 mayors, since it's Easton and Weston. There was a whole other storyline with the other mayor that we just never explored. There was a whole storyline with, there was like a shifty character that had kind of come in and out of the story, and we knew that he was a bad guy, but he was never present, at least in our version of the story, enough for us to pursue his side of the story. And actually at the end, he kind of has he has a little like send off at the end of just like, oh, this is how it ends, or something like that, and he walks away type of thing. Which that's when I knew. I was like, oh, we didn't resolve everything. And even in our dungeon master explained, he's like, well, you guys did, technically you did your job. You strengthened the bridge. Did you strengthen it to 100%? No. He's like, but you probably strengthened it to like 75-80%, which is like better than it was before. So we helped, but we didn't like excel, if that makes sense.
right.
Again, my little Asian heart was shattered when he said that I got a B, because I really like getting A's. It's very sad. But yeah, was there anything in the post DM conversation that surprised you, or that you were like, oh, that's how it should have gone?
Oh, when he told me how much I had to roll on my stealth to steal money,
Yeah.
so that we could buy this thing at
we
the
could
market.
buy the expensive thing.
Yeah. It was like, all you had to do was roll the 18.
That's crazy.
And I was like, well, I have a +5.
yeah.
So all I had to do was roll a 13.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that's a pretty good odds in my,
It would have been, yeah.
in my guess.
For
But,
sure.
we never went for it because we were like, what if you don't roll high enough? Do you get caught? Do you go to jail or whatever?
Right.
So I was just like, okay, never mind. I won't do it.
And there was also supposed to be, and he said there was a whole other battle sequence that he prepared with the fairy. We had met a fairy in our journey when we were trying to find the girl's necklace, and something. If we had gone back and whatever, it would have been like a whole fairy magical sequence battle, whatever. And he was saying, he was like, I like had all these colors and stuff prepared that I knew that you and the druid would like, and I was like, I wish we saw it. But yeah, I mean, overall, I really enjoyed our first D&D session. By session, I mean our campaign. And a big part of that is we were very, very fortunate to not only have a good DM, but a DM that we were comfortable with, and that had, I mean, he had mounds and mounds of patience. On top of the fact that the people that we did end up playing with, like that were in our party, we're all really chill with each other, and I think we we already enjoy each other's company as it is, and so doing something like this felt like it didn't feel forced in any way, or didn't feel uncomfortable. Like we were all just naturally and genuinely ourselves, and we were all gleeking and nerding out in our own ways, like individually. I mean, we were joking the paladin the whole time, because his whole thing was, I'm a paladin with beautiful, long, flowing, luscious locks, and he was like living his best paladin life, and you were a green orc, like, so it was really nice. I appreciate our friends who were in our party, and I very much appreciate our dungeon master. And I guess, would you D&D again?
Oh yeah, I would definitely try to do this again. I would try to do it with a larger party.
Really?
Yeah. Because like you said, we do have friends that still want to play, who have never played before.
Oh yeah.
And so we were asking my brother, what's the largest campaign that you ever run? And he was like, oh, I think I've done about 8.
Yeah.
So that would be cool if we can get those others to play with us. But if that does happen, that means we would need to at least create new characters that are at level 1.
Oh, if we were to start a whole new one again. Yeah, for sure.
And so, I mean, it would make more sense to us second time going through it. But, we also run into that thing where we're going to be having new players join us. And so we have to show them the ropes and, tell them things.
But I think that's also good for us too, because it's like we are still so new to the medium as a whole that even though we've run a campaign as level 1, 2, and 3, it's kind of like, okay, well, let's rerun it now that we know the things that we know. Like, okay, stealth, this, that, the other. I know, I have more than just yo mama jokes in my repertoire. Then those are the kinds of things that we can use to not only succeed in the campaign or whatever, but to just enhance our overall experience, so we can get a better handle if we choose to create the same character or similar characters,
right?
And so it's kind of like, okay, this is cool, this is nice. It's a developing thing, it's a growing thing in its own right. And I think because it is such a vast world of customizations in that sense, it'll be really, really fun, I feel. I know that our other friends want to do it. I have no idea when.
Right.
We have been busy, and now it is the Burr months, so it's going to be even more busy. But yeah, I think I would D&D again too. Both with our same party, but also if we include new people, I think that would be cool too.
Right. So after we finished this campaign, we met again, and we wanted to watch the Dungeons and Dragons movie.
That's the D&D movie. It was so funny.
And so we did cosplay.
We did.
And then we also brought food that was quote unquote themed.
It was a theme party, yeah.
And then once we got all that set up, we played the movie, watched it through. I guess my brother said that I had watched it before, but I don't remember it at all.
Really?
Yeah. And so going through it this time, and I was like more invested in the movie.
Yeah. We had so much more context to the movie
Mhm.
after having our campaign, for sure.
Oh yeah. I really liked it. The movie itself. I wish we had more to watch.
Yeah.
Which is what I guess what I was craving for at the end of that movie. Which is what my brother had mentioned that we should watch Legend of Vox Machina after that.
Yeah.
And so we were just binging on that after the movie.
We were there for another 6 hours.
Yeah.
We
At
spent
least.
so long because we ate, we watched the movie, and then I think we watched almost the entirety of season 1.
Yeah, half of it.
Yeah, and like just straight. And if you don't, Legends of Vox Machina, that is a animated version of if I'm not mistaken, it's an animated version of an actual campaign done by not Dimension 20, the other one. Critical Role. And it's very funny. It is full warning, it's a little bit vulgar.
Mm-hmm.
But it all in good fun type of vulgar, I would say. So definitely not something your kids should watch, but like teenagers plus, maybe older teens, maybe I would say, because there are some crude jokes, but again, purely genuinely in good fun, and it has a very compelling story. And again, it was that thing of I get it now, like I'm in on the joke now because I've run a campaign, so I'm like, oh, I get what's happening here.
Mm-hmm.
And X, Y, and Z, these things are making sense. And so it was really nice to experience that in a way where you're just like, oh, okay. And I want to say for at least 2 or 3 weeks afterwards, myself and the druid could not stop sending each other D&D memes, like
right.
on Instagram, on YouTube Reels, like whatever it was, just sending it. I like now half of my FYP is D&D content, which I love. Like it's so much fun. Just another added thing to my repertoire, I guess, of yes, I am a nerd with no shame. You have any final thoughts, Chiggy?
No, not really. I'm waiting for the day that we do another campaign.
For sure.
Hopefully we can get others to play with us.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's about all I have for this.
Anyways, thank you so much for listening to today's episode. We hope you enjoyed our recap of our D&D campaign. Let us know in the comments down below. Again, have you played D&D? If not, would you be interested in playing D&D? We highly recommend it, especially if it's with your actual friends. If not, I know that there's a lot of places that actually will like host, and you can kind of hop in on different campaigns. So again, if you get an opportunity to do it, highly recommend it. It is a lot of fun. Again, we hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you guys next time.
Bye.